A Central Texas father's tenacious fight will take him to the steps of Capitol Hill next week. Casey McPherson, an Austin musician with a storied decades-long career, traded the stage for science, and it's all to find a cure for his daughter Rose, who has a rare genetic disease impacting her mobility and her ability to speak. McPherson invited me into his home recently. I got to meet Rose, hear their story, and then learn about their remarkable journey to find a cure. There are moments in life when a father wishes time would just stand still. Playing the guitar and harmonica with his daughter Rose is one of those moments for Casey McPherson.
She's focused on me and I'm focused on her.
A temporary escape from life's permanent realities.
Rose was born different.
It wasn't until she was 3 that McPherson would learn why.
Open wide, I'm ready for the battle.
By that time, he had reached a high point in his music career.
Had the major label record deal, you know, the sort of the dream story of a local band. Well, at the height of my career, I got married, had 2 beautiful girls.
And one of those girls was Rose. A few years after she was born, her parents noticed Rose was missing more and more milestones.
She began to choke on her food. She would try to walk, but she'd fall flat on her face without putting her hands in front of her. She lost her ability to talk, like as she was developing her language. She used to say 3 words. She had dad, mom, and outside. See, she said dada.
Genetic testing revealed Rose had a mutation on the HNRNPH2 gene.
I brought it to the pediatric neurologist and he says, Casey, your daughter has a rare genetic disease. There's no cure. There's nothing we can do. Good luck.
McPherson was at a crossroads. He had a record deal from Sony and a daughter with a rare genetic disease. He chose Rose.
She would never have the freedoms that other kids have, like make friends or go to college or fall in love, and without a genetic treatment, she'll never be able to talk again. And that's when I knew if I didn't do something, no one would.
He didn't exactly know where to start, so he searched Parents Cure Child of Rare Disease on the internet. McPherson found a community of parents organizing science teams, advocating for research into genetic treatments, and pushing for clinical trials.
I started To Cure Rose Foundation with the idea that could we build genetic treatments for these kids and learn drug development, learn genetics.
They built a lab that functions at Austin Community College's bioincubator space to make genetic medicines.
But I realized we needed a commercial company that can take these through FDA clinical trials and commercialize them at scale. So then we spun out Alpha Rose Therapeutics.
Researchers have identified fewer than 150 people with the same condition as Rose. But at least 30 million people in the U.S. are living with the rare disease. And that's because researchers have identified at least 7,000 different rare diseases. Of those 7,000, just 500 have approved treatments. FDA approval requires clinical trials with participation from hundreds, often thousands of people.
I think that we have an opportunity to mold regulatory that's still safe, but around this new wave of genetic medicine for these kids, because up till now, these children were just there to suffer.
As they both continue their fight, these bedtime routines filled with laughter
Hope you have sweet dreams.
and music are a reprieve.
Maybe I don't play for thousands of people anymore, but I have the best fan to play for that I could ever ask for. What would you say if you could talk to me?
So you've been in this fight since she was 3 years old.
It took me a couple of years to work up the courage to attempt to do something about it.
What gave you the courage?
My courage came from Rose. If she was willing to work as hard as she has to just make another step, I had to have the same kind of courage she did. Sometimes you might be nice. Thank you. Sorry. I love you so much.
And Daniel, Casey told me his company, as you heard, developed a drug for Rose's disease, and now they're just working on raising more investment dollars to move on to that next phase.
They're both so brave and such strong people. He's headed to Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Okay, so he, along with families who have been impacted by rare diseases, they will head to Capitol Hill really to advocate for fewer barriers in rare disease research as well as regulation. They're also part of a documentary. It's called Rare, and it exposes what stands between the families who are fighting rare diseases and the quest for treatments, and also the emerging groundbreaking therapies that are available. We spoke to Dr. Stephen Ecker. He's a director of the Center for Rare Disease at Dell Medical School as well. And Daniel, we do dig much deeper into this story on KXAN.com.
All right, Jennifer, thank you so much, and thank you to the family too for sharing that story
for
with
sharing
us.
their
That's
story.
Incredible
Yeah.
people live among us.